Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pause for Self-Care podcast. Last week's episode was facts. I tried to be as factual as possible to try to give you an idea of what trauma actually is. Today, I'd like to go more into my experience with trauma and what I do to actually help myself on a daily basis. I think this is so important for trauma survivors because a lot of us don't reach out. We find it hard to reach out. So it's so important for us to actually have the tools ourselves to say, hey, look, I'm having a bad day. What am I going to do? So, yeah, when we do decide to reach out for help and get that extra assistance, we can use that. But these are tools that you can use yourself. And if you're listening to this podcast with the intention of helping somebody else, don't tell them what to do. Give them suggestions, give them ideas, and say, how can I be there to help you? What would you like me to do? Now, I will have another podcast with information about how you can help somebody who's been through trauma. But as I said, this one is specifically for those who have been through trauma, haven't reached out, or maybe have reached out and are just looking for some extra ideas to boost your self-care so that you can help yourself through daily triggers, bad days, dark days, and good days. Because when we have good days, we should be maintaining our mental health. When you have a good day, don't cram everything that you can't do on bad days into that day and then feel horrible at the end of the day. Pace yourself. Say to yourself, this is what I'm capable of, and what I get through is perfectly okay. You should put that in your daily affirmations. What I can get through today is absolutely okay. And you can build yourself on that. That's why I say everyday self-care is so important. The first thing for me is my coffee. When I have my cup of coffee, that's my coffee and me time. So for those 10-15 minutes, I smell the aroma of my coffee. I don't answer my phone. It's my refresher. And we so need these moments of self-care during the course of today, of every day. Self-care is not just for a Sunday. It's everyday things to help you through, to maintain your mental health. And then when you have bad days, have a toolbox of ideas so that you can look at that toolbox and say, okay, not feeling too great today. Let me look at maybe trying journaling today. Journaling is a nice tool, especially if you're not quite sure what is triggering you. You can write what's on your mind. Your journal is a safe space. Nobody's going to read your journal. That's what we need. Safe spaces. Safe spaces to share how we're feeling. Safe spaces to figure out why we are feeling like we're feeling. And after trauma, the feelings come up and you really sometimes struggle with where those things are actually coming from. But diving in and writing that journal can really help you. And not only that, if you are seeing a therapist, you can take your journal along to your therapist and say, this is what's been going on. And they can look and advise you on how to improve on those days, or what to do to help you cope through those moments. Another creative idea, well, actually, let's just say creativity is a great idea. I love being creative. I'm an artist at heart. I studied art, so being creative comes naturally to me. For those of you who aren't naturally creative in the art scale, you could be creative in another way. So creativity is just a tool or a hobby that you can lose yourself in. You could cut out pictures from magazines and stick them in an album that you created for yourself of pretty pictures that you just enjoy looking at to help your mind relax. It could be knitting, painting, creating something, making something, woodwork. It can be anything. Reading is a nice creative tool because it helps you get lost for a moment and relax your brain. Also, being creative kind of helps you muddle through those overthinking thoughts that are running through your mind. When you are having a bad day, try staying in positive environments. Don't force yourself into a negative environment that makes you feel worse. If you have to go to work, take something with you to put on your desk that's positive and that keeps your mind distracted. Just for little bits. Maybe take some good coffee from home to work so that you have something to look forward to. Or pack yourself a nice lunch. If you're at home and you just don't feel like getting out of bed, and believe me, those days are real, say to yourself, I will try something for 5 minutes. And you know what? If you succeed and you try something for 5 minutes and you continue after those 5 minutes, good for you. Congratulations. And that's honestly from me. And you know what? You should be congratulating yourself too and praising yourself for every little milestone on bad days. But if you don't make those 5 minutes, and you decide it's a day just to get back into bed, that's also okay. Because you are looking after your mental health. Taking a mental health day is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Maybe while you're in bed, you could watch a movie. Now, I don't necessarily mean a comedy. Well, you know, that lifts up your spirits and all. But maybe watching something sad like The Notebook and crying it out is also good. Because crying is actually healthy for us. It helps us release. Exercise is good. It brings out your endorphins, makes you feel good. But if you can only manage walking outside with a cup of coffee and just taking a stroll around your garden, that's just as good too. Try to get enough sleep. I know that's a tough one with trauma. It's the time that our minds really overthink. This is a good time to journal, to get that out of your mind. Have a nice bedtime routine. And if you struggle with sleep, which I'll probably mention a few times in this podcast, head over to the Thoughts First website and have a look at the free downloads. These are from Dr. Kalinda Linder, and she gives some amazing CBT advice about anxiety. Specifically about not being able to sleep. I absolutely love the tips that she gave. Download her PDFs and give them a read. Eating a healthy diet is really good. What I like to actually do is I go by my body clock. I go with what my body is craving. If I'm craving something sweet, and well, yes, I am trying to lose weight, I look more into fruits. I love mango. Yes, it's a bit pricey, so I don't get it that often. So apples are good too. Look at what your body needs and go from there. Something that is really great with trauma is routine, because you can know what to expect. When you get triggered with trauma, it's normally something that's happened unexpectedly, something gets thrown at you, and you spiral. And those spiraling moments feel so unfair. You feel lonely. You feel depressed. You feel like nobody else in the world kind of experienced what you did, and nobody understands you. So by keeping a routine, it kind of prevents those moments of unexpected. If you want to know what to do during a panic attack or during unexpected moments, subscribe to this podcast. I will cover those subjects in the future. And right now, there are so many subjects that I really do want to cover. So, yeah, please do hit subscribe. And just know that there's somebody who does understand. Our experiences may not have been the same, but trauma, we all stand together if we've experienced it. We understand in some way how another is feeling. Some of our triggers may not be the same. How we heal may not be the same. But we can support each other through it. And I think that is so important in this. Lived experience is so important. So sharing your story can help you heal too. Not only sharing your story, but sharing how you're healing. It's really important to share that information. And it's brave of you to share that information. And if you do, I'm exceptionally proud of you. There are so many warriors out there who share their stories and struggle and put on a brave face and smile. And if you're one of those people who are listening today, I'd really like to thank you. Thank you for what you do. Just thank you. Thank you for being brave. Because I know it's not easy. I have those days myself. Now, to end off, I have a blog going out on Pause for Self-Care blog with extra information. If you head over there, read the article, and, well, it's not the only article that I've read, that I've written about trauma and self-help through trauma. There are so many things that you can do to help yourself through bad days. And this podcast was just a little tiny piece of it. So if you'd like to know more and there wasn't possibly a tip here today that helped you, head over to my blog. Maybe there's something there. Maybe you'd like to join a support group. SADAG, the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, have many support groups. I know the numbers have just been updated, but we were sitting at about 160 support groups for the longest time. They really started to increase during COVID. So if you head over to sadag.org, have a look at the support group tab, and you will see what support groups are currently running, and have a look to see if there's one that suits your needs. Contact the support group leader and chat to them. See if you're a good fit for that group. Having that support for your trauma that's outside of your family, people who understand on another level, that can really help you in your healing journey. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do hope that you are following me on social media for extra tips, that you head over and read my blog, and that you are subscribed. Until next time, remember to pause for self-care.